Hello everyone, welcome back to SYL Inspo Media. My name is Sylvia Kiremi, and today I want to first of all appreciate you people for giving us so much support. We have seen you commenting, we have seen you asking for shows, and this is really giving us some good morale to continue doing this. Today we are talking about a very interesting topic. We are going to learn, we are going to be educated, we are going to benefit from this. Today is all about stress and stress management. Looking at it, the world today is going through so much. The world has so much hassles and bustles, and our daily lives are making us all stressed. I believe everybody out there is stressed today, and that is why I have chosen this specific topic for you and I. I will not introduce you because I believe you can even do it better. Karibu sana.
Asante. That is big. You know, the way you put it, it's even scary. My name is Peter. Peter MUCHEKE, a counseling psychologist. I practice counseling and at the same time different interventions. Stress and stress management. It's big, just like you said, there is so much pressure all around. When you turn like this pressure, when you turn like this, be it financial, be it in the family, the relationships we are in, there is so much pressure. I was sharing with someone some time ago, and I was saying, we are yet to see, you know, this is a time bomb. We are yet to see the impact of the stress that we are having around. Okay, we've started seeing some signs here and there. The rate at which people are hurting each other, hurting self, the rate at which people are giving up in life. All that is because they have gotten to a point whereby they are not managing their stress. And so coming up with such a topic, it's a great honor. I'm honored to be on the show.
And you look amazing, actually. I've just noted that we are in pink.
We are in pink. I wonder who told each other, the others wardrobe.
Let's not even go there. So first of all, I would like you to tell our viewer what is stress. Yeah, before we can go to stress management and all. What is a stress?
Stress.
Yeah.
Stress, just like the word love, is a word that we use oftenly, but most of the time we either use it the wrong way or meaning the wrong thing. Stress is anytime you are overwhelmed. It can be psychologically or it can be physically. A very good example, you see, when you're walking, I like giving this example. When you're walking, you're having a shoe, and in your walking, a small stone gets into the shoe. For a few minutes, you will continue walking until you feel, that thing is messing me up. And now your system will get to a point and realize, I cannot live with this stress. And so now you will have to get it out. And so stress is anytime, physically or psychologically, when you are pushed and your functioning is affected one or the other. Allow me to mention this. We got positive stress, so as to say, and we have negative stress. When you talk about positive stress, we are talking about the real word for that is eustress. Eustress. Eustress is that stress that we come across. And then our system interprets it as, this is good for me. And so you go ahead and live with the stress. For example, when you get to a point and realize, I want to put up a house, it's a good idea, but in between the process, you get stressed up. The materials, you don't have money for the materials. The fundis are there on site, but you don't know what to do. But you keep on fighting with that. By the end of the day, it gives you a reward. Eustress, another example of eustress, the moment of giving birth. You see, push. You will find the mother is going through the process, the pain and all that, because they know by the end of it all, they have something good to bring, to show for it. The negative stress, this stress, that is now when, and that is the one that you spend a lot of time on, is when now the pressure comes on us and your system tries to interpret it and you realize, I cannot live with this. I don't know what to do. I can't even cope. There is a psychologist called Richard Lazarus. He gave us a theory that compares emotions with stress. And there's a way he puts it, if I may just go through a little bit so that you can help us understand. You see, the moment you come across any challenge, good or bad, but it's a challenge, your system goes back and it first analyzes the challenge. Do I want to go ahead And then there's a system, there's a part of your system that goes now to another level and says, do I have what it takes to fight? And so by the time now we are giving up, by the time we are despairing, or by the time we are pushing through with the challenge, you have done an analysis within yourself. And now you can sit down and say, I have what it takes. Or then when you give up, is because you've realized, I cannot make it. What causes people to commit suicide? It's because there is a challenge they are facing. They have done a quick, and most of the time when that analysis is happening, when that assessment is happening, it's not deliberate, it's not conscious. It's some of those things we do them subconsciously, and you realize, I don't have what it takes to continue with this life. I find no meaning in this life. I have no meaning for tomorrow. I don't want to face tomorrow. And now you get to a point you realize, I don't want to face it. And at that point you're like, let me commit suicide.
But you know, I've been thinking about this, yeah, the point you've talked about committing suicide, yeah. I think about it and I'm really trying to understand, how does it get to that point? Okay, before we go there, what are some of the factors also that are bringing about this stress to many people?
Stress. You see now, the factors that cause people, we are in life. I gave an example of walking and a pebble gets into your shoe. You never requested for it, but it comes. We are walking in life and you have bills to meet, you have responsibilities, you have kids to take care of, you have work-related pressure. There is pressure from all around. And so you just need one of them to come and stand out, and you realize you don't have what it takes to walk through and come out successfully, and now it becomes overwhelming. It could be just one of them amongst many. Like now when we sit down for counseling sessions, or when we are in for therapeutic moments, the first thing we assist people to do is, kindly tell me what brought you here. You will find someone who will go through many other things, many. But then there is one of them that has pushed them to the wall. They've managed the rest, but there is that one. And so you will find we have physical influences. We have, when you talk about physical, you could be dealing with things to do with this life. It could be psychological. Those things, maybe you are having conflict within yourself, you are having arguments that you cannot win, you are having battles that you're fighting within. And then there are those things that are outside here, the external factors. You're in a relationship with a friend who is messing you up, your workplace, you're in a love relationship, it's messing you up, you don't know how to deal with it, bills. Pressure, stress comes from life. Precisely. It comes from life, what you're going through, what you're experiencing.
All right. Now, talking about all that, relationships, failed marriages, school, work, all these things, we are trying to balance them. You know, I believe it becomes very difficult for one person to manage all this, yeah? Now, when it becomes difficult, what are some of the symptoms that will make you know that you're stressed? Because I believe it is not easy to just know, you know, I am stressed. What are some of the symptoms that people should look out for?
The first thing you realize is, without any order, I'm saying then without any order, you will find that at times you're getting tired faster than usual times. You know, you are worn out, you are tired. You know, your system feels tired. You wake up in the morning, you're tired. You went to sleep tired. In the middle of the night, you're tired. You know, that level of tiredness, it's telling you something. Your appetite may get affected. Appetite for food, and of course, for sex. Appetite, general appetite, they get affected. For some people, when they're going through stress, they find themselves eating more or a lot. Others, they don't want to eat at all. And you can tell, you know, it's your food. Yeah. Food is served, you look at the amount, you get hungry. Yesterday, that did not happen. Last week, that did not happen. But today, it has happened. There is something that has thrown you out. Another thing is how quickly you get irritated. You get worked up. The rate at which even the private conversations that are happening, if you are good at monitoring yourself, you will realize that there are some conversations that you're having within yourself that are telling you things are not okay. Psychologically, there are quite a number of things, the way you're feeling. Physically, outside here, now you will find now, because of the things that are happening within you, things like having headaches that you cannot talk about, sleeplessness, go to bed and you cannot sleep, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, you're awake. And when you ask other people, what were you thinking? Most of the time they tell you, nothing, or I don't know. There is something that is keeping you awake. I don't know whether I spoke about your attitude. Your attitude changes. You are angry. You don't want to see. You are irritable. You know, all those kind of things. And now you find people, they get to a point whereby they may even become violent. Someone does not want to clean up. The very duties that you used to enjoy doing, you no longer want to do them. You find that people, as they are getting deeper and deeper into stress, someone wakes up in the morning, does not want to tidy up, does not want to go to work. Some people even abscond. They don't want to report to work. What's happening? Another force, they are overwhelmed. Remember, stress is all about your brain. Maybe I should have mentioned this. You see, the moment a challenge comes your way, you face a challenge, and your system interprets it, because we have a system that interprets and says this is good or this is bad. The moment you interpret like that, 2, I like talking about 3 responses come your way. Number 1, you find that due to hormones, you know, your body will produce hormones. Allow me to mention 2. Cortisol, the one that brings about sugar levels, and adrenaline, energy and action. They come into play. You find that people want to fight or to flee. They want to fight or to run away. There's another one that is rarely spoken about, and I like talking about fright. You get frightened and you freeze. Some people, you just freeze and they don't want to respond. And these are the people, when they're going through stress, you find them saying, I want nothing. I don't want to move. I don't want to. I don't want. Right? There are others who will run away. They don't, I'm not facing this anymore. They flee. There are others who will fight. It comes like this, energy comes from another place, and they will face you.
What are some of the things that our bodies experience when we are stressed, health-wise? Yeah, you can explain to our viewers about that.
Some of these things that you're talking about, and especially when you talk about BP, and nowadays it's all over, heart attacks, cardiovascular, these are some complications that come along with stress. You find that someone who did not have blood pressure, all of a sudden, and it shoots to levels. I remember there's a lady we were working with, and when she was brought on board, she had ruptured a vein in the brain, and so after that, now we had to, through therapy, physiotherapy, and now counseling, bring her out. What was the cause? BP. What was the cause? Stress. All right? Cardiovascular. You will find that our immune system is greatly affected by stress. There are some people who will get a common cold when they are stressed.
Stress?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
There are some people who will have migraine when they are stressed. Yeah. So it affects our immune system. There are some people, on a normal day, they will enjoy a cold drink. But when they are stressed, if they enjoy the same cold drink, they have a common cold. And so it affects affects our immune system. Another area that is affected is our digestive system. I had spoken about that. Yes. You find that you are either eating more or less. Why? The digestive system has been affected because there are other factors in play, and so it affects. There's some people who get muscle pull.
Oh.
Yes.
Stress?
Oh yes. You will find someone is stressed up, and when they're seated like that, muscle pull. Why? They were not working in the course of the day, but it's because there is so much, do I talk about destructive hormones that are being released into the system, and so it affects them. Mental status, greatly affected by stress. Number 1, anxiety. You will find some people, they really become anxious when they're going through stress. A friend, we were talking, and so I realized that he's male. He was becoming anxious. What will happen? And you almost ask him, why are you apprehensive? What's happening? Only to discover he was dealing with some stressing issues, and so it affects that. Okay. Depression.
Actually, I wanted to ask that.
It degenerates to depression.
Okay.
And you see, by the time now we are getting to depression, someone is really gone. Maybe the last one I can mention is it affects your memory.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, when people are going through stress, you'll find that their memory is greatly affected. That is on top of the other things that I had mentioned previously. And so, the impact of stress.
Yeah, so talking about depression, where do we place stress when it comes to depression? Is it stress that leads it or leads to depression, or exactly how would you place stress?
Remember, depression at times is a disorder as well as a status. When it's a disorder, that is like a sickness. But when it's a status, you find yourself depressed, you find yourself in depression. Most of the time, stress began. Because what is depression? Depression is when now you are totally overwhelmed. The things you are responding to, you no longer respond to. Your responsibilities, you never attend to them. Your system starts to shut down. Depression, shutting down of your system. What was the beginning point? Personally, I take it to be stress. Unmanaged stress. Because please remember, stress will live with us. In fact, we need stress to survive. If we didn't have stress, we are where we are because of stress. The kind of, it is stress that keeps us moving. We started driving because we got tired of walking. We live in structures that have roofs because we were stressed out by the weather. And so we need to protect ourselves. When we are stressed by animals, we go and put chain link so that we can keep the animals at bay, wild animals at bay. So it is stress. At any given time, when stress is managed, men progress in life.
Yeah, and actually, there's something you've talked about, and it has reminded me of a conversation I had with someone the other day. There's that feeling, the person was trying to explain to me that they had a feeling of, let me say, fright or kushtuka from nowhere, like it lasts a whole day. And I was trying to think with this person and maybe understand, could it be you're stressed, something is happening, are these things linked to something? And when you talked about that, I wanted to ask you, could that be stress also?
It could be stress, but it's also good for such people to go for assessment, because we could be talking about panic attacks. That's a condition, something like that. People who, out of nowhere, of course, subconsciously there's something that is happening. You see, in life, there is a cause for everything, even panic attacks.
So that is what we call panic attacks.
It could be. That's what I'm saying. It's good for such people to go for assessment, because it presents in different ways. But you will find someone who is scared for no good reason, and they are surprised, and they are in fright perpetually for a day, 2 days. That could be panic attack, and it's good to be addressed, because all these things, even when you talk about mental health, I believe that that's a topic we'll have another day. When you talk about mental health, and then we look at mental conditions, all these things can be managed, because it's an issue of balancing the hormones, the production of hormones in the body. When something is being overproduced or under, then we are able to take care of that, and so it can be managed. So the best thing for such a person would be, let them go for assessment. All right? Let them work with someone, a professional. Okay. They may get help.
Now, let me understand, yeah? For such a person to visit a professional, do they really need treatment as in medicine, or they just need that psychological counseling, therapy and all? Do we have medicine for stress healing?
It depends. And that's why I'm really emphasizing the issue of assessment, right? Remember, we have psychologists and we have psychiatrists. Most of the time, and especially counseling psychologists, we do not dispense. We do not.
And people actually confuse the two. So it is good you make it clear today.
A psychologist, a counseling psychologist, let me be specific, a counseling psychologist, I will sit down with you. And the main thing I will look at is, what are we dealing with? Because at times you'll find someone is stressed or they feel out of control, overwhelmed. I had mentioned, not mostly because of 3 or 4 things. There could be one. We talk about the underlying issue. There is what you're going to present to me. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm feeling. Now I will take you a journey backwards so that you can try and find what could be messing you up. All right? Now, that is the work of a counseling psychologist. Now, I will get to a point and realize, whoa, we are losing it. And especially now when you start telling me about hallucinations. I can see, I can hear, can't you see them? Are you hearing them? Now, at that point, I cannot continue with you. We need to tone you down. We need to slow you down because your processes are a bit too fast for us. And so what are we going to do? Now we will visit a psychiatrist or a clinical psychologist. And now at that point, they will dispense drugs. We will now manage the hormones, whatever is being overproduced, whatever is being underproduced. And so now we will deal with it. We will deal with the brain part of your body. Now when you come to a point whereby we can talk, now we will come here. What will I be looking for? I'll be looking for irrational thoughts, masturbatory thoughts. There are some things that you are saying that are not true. There are some things you believe in, they are not true. What are your belief systems? What are the experiences that you've gone to? Are we talking about trauma? Did it go addressed? You see, when we talk about loss and grief, that is something I have found out. As Africans, we manage to let them willy, bring the body, we bury, and we are done.
And then the person is left struggling alone, dealing with it alone.
And then we say, we'll keep checking on you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that person is left now to come to terms with what has just happened. We did not even walk with you towards burial, leave alone walking with you after burial. And so you can imagine what that will do to you. And now these are some of the things that with time, you find someone has retrogressed, they're going down, and then we have conditions. Post-traumatic stress disorders. Now we get to a point of disorders. It's because they were never addressed. And so I go back to a counseling psychologist and a psychiatrist. They dispense, they manage with drugs. Of course, they can also counsel. But now they are one step ahead of us because they can introduce chemical intervention to whatever you're going through, bring you to a point now we will talk. We will talk. Anytime someone reaches out to me, the first thing is I look at, can we talk? Can we communicate? Because you find someone has gone down, has degenerated to a point they cannot converse.
Now, let me ask, when someone goes through all these processes, meeting new people, probably go to a psychiatrist, and they've been using drugs, do we have people recovering like completely?
Personally, I've had the honor of seeing people walk. I remember one guy came, and as a matter of fact, I was called in by people, and I was adamant at first because they really wanted me. The guy was not moving out of the house. They wanted me to go into his house, and I didn't want, because at times you never know. But then because there's someone who we had started a journey, and you see, what I've come now to learn about counseling, we'll start off with you. Session 1, session 2. We address the presenting issue, what you're going through. But when I looked at you, I saw the need for session 3, 4, and 5. Because now here, we will start working on some goals. And we will try to introduce some interventions, some habits that will be constructive and keep you from going back. But what happens to most people? First, second, they are good. All of a sudden, you will hear people telling you, I feel like I've been having a heavy load on my shoulder and it's gone. Now that is just first aid. Now we need to work on the real thing. Most people, they disappear. And so this guy happened like that. And so by the time now, I think 3 or 4 months later, that's when they're intervening. He's gone down. And so we walk. At that point, by the way, we had to bring in, I took him to the mental hospital, accompanied him, because he was telling me I'm okay. But I could tell, we need drugs. As a matter of fact, he had a condition. And so we needed to manage that condition so that we can have him as a human being. So that now we can deal with the thinking part of him, the thought processes, the cognitive part of him. How is he processing his thoughts, expectations?
According to you, do you think these people maybe who have experienced stress and depression before, and probably they've gone through the process and now they are okay, do they have maybe a higher chance of going back or falling back?
Relapsing is right here. And that's why we talk about manage your stress. You need to manage it. And now that's why when I was saying the first 2 or 3 sessions, we are doing first aid, for me, that is not where the work is. The work is the 4th, the 5th, beyond that. Because that is where now we will introduce habits to you. There's some people, you will look at them and realize this person has been inactive. They are into a certain system. They walk into the office, spend the day, go back in the evening. They are in a certain, and so we want to introduce something beyond that. What's your hobby? Pursue a hobby. Working out. Can you work out? Yes. Now we work on that. And so you need to manage. You see, in counseling, we may not dispense drug, but there are some interventions that will introduce. If you walk away from them, relapsing is very easy. Very easy. Yes.
So what are causes of stress in the modern life today?
That is broad. That is broad. That is broad.
Just a few, 1 or 2 that we can look at.
When I say relationships, all relationships. Even there are times we are stressed by our friends. We have nothing sexual about them, but they're just friends. They said something about me. How are you dealing with that stress? When I talk about relationship, go all the way. Marital relationships, that kind of an arrangement. Work-based relationships, okay? Then we have the workplace. Workplace. 2 or 3 times I've had the honor of working with an institution, and especially setting up, making the institution to be mental health friendly. Because many people, they are getting challenges, stress-related issues from their workplace. The relationships within the workplace, that is one. The nature of work. Targets, nowadays we're talking about targets. Sometimes you're given targets that are way beyond you. And you see, the moment you're given the target, someone will come and tell you, this is what we want, and they leave it on your desk, and they walk. You don't know where to begin. They didn't walk. They didn't walk with you through it to, this is what we want, and so this is how you go about it. And so, workplace. The environment, it's becoming toxic. Quite toxic as we keep walking. Tech, phones, gadgets, social media, name it. Tech is really putting people a demand on them. I think this morning I was listening to Malema, EFF candidate, South Africa, Julius Malema, and he was saying, he keeps telling the son, I am the richest man on earth because I know myself and I know how I've gotten here. I don't care about everybody else and how they got there. They know their lives. And he was talking about learning to appreciate who we are. Because you will take social media, you see how Sil is living, and you're like, wow, wow. And now I put pressure on myself to achieve to what? Then after I get there, then after that, I will get someone else, and someone else, and someone else. And I will forever be running after a lifestyle. Who is living Peter? Because now I'm leaving Sil, I'm leaving next, I'm leaving the next. Who is living out Peter? And so I will realize after I've walked and I've outlived all of them, then I'm like, where next? And now you even find people because they are lost. And so when we talk about stress, let me say this. Life round about us keeps throwing stress at us. Ladies, I like, there's something I like, especially even in church, you will find they've gone into church and the first thing they do, they're worshiping the Lord, they remove their shoes. Do you know what that is telling me? You're not comfortable in that shoe. And so it is a source of stress. The best thing is you've already taught yourself how to live with that stress. You've managed. I think in stress management, the key word is coping skills and coping mechanism. Probably that is where maybe you were to lead me. Because stress is round about us, then what do we need to do? How do we manage this stress now? Because it's important. First and foremost, we will never overemphasize the element of becoming self-aware. I know myself to a point. I know when I'm overeating and when I'm undereating. I should know myself to a point. I know when I'm over speaking. There are times you start talking and people are telling you, boss, what's happening nowadays? We don't know you like this. Do I know myself? The more you become self-aware, now you'll be able to tell when other forces are pushing you out of you. Stress, that's what we said. When now forces from outside or from within are throwing you out of your track. So self-awareness. Number 2, when you have the capability to tell this thing is stressing me, this thing is stressing me, that takes us to point number 1, self-aware. That means I know I perform like this when I'm okay, but now I'm performing like because of item X or element or this relationship. All right?
So that means it is easy to self-diagnose.
Very easy, but it begins with being self-aware.
Conscious.
Knowing yourself. I know myself. And it's a deliberate action. People know other people, but they don't know themselves. Many people don't know themselves.
So how
we are
do
introduced to ourselves.
how do we manage this? Now let's talk stress management. We've been stressed all through, and actually everything that we are doing is leading us to stress, right? How do we manage this on a day-to-day life?
Know when you're getting stressed. Know the source of that stress. There's something I discourage people. Please, before you say, I don't know, that is the end of you thinking about that challenge or the source of that challenge. Can you find out what is it? I was not like this yesterday. I woke up in the morning feeling like this, that feeling. What happened? Maybe there's an information I received yesterday. I did not process it well, and so now it's pushing me. Get to know what is the issue. Now, there are techniques that we introduce. One of them is mindfulness, where you will now get to a point, and this is where things like yoga come in, meditation come in, but precisely say, because some of these things, again, they become tricky. You don't know where to draw the line. Personally, what I say, can you be aware of what is happening around about you? When was the last time you took a break out of your own life and what is happening? What's going on? You take a break. You're mindful. You are actively involved in thinking about what you're going. Mindfulness, being mindful, living in the now, be in the current, and learn to interrogate occurrences in your life. I was not like this in the morning. Why am I feeling like that? When you feel that pain right here at the beginning of the connection between the neck and the spine, you feel that pain. Is it a signal, a physical signal that you are stressed? If we can be able to be mindful, we'll be able to take care of that. Learning to relax, very important. Rarely do we relax nowadays. Even when you go to bed, many people are not relaxing. You will find that someone will go to bed and just before they sleep, in fact, they will be put to sleep by their phone, and the last information they read was bad information, and so they're really this accident. And then in the middle of all that, you see one from your boss, and they're saying, now look at this, and so that you sleep. Now this 1 hour, 2 hours after you got into bed, you throw your phone off and you sleep. I can almost bet you will not relax. You will not, right? And so learning to relax. We talk about when you lie down on a flat surface, you just lie down and you let your body relax. You tension your muscles and then you release them, whereby you allow your body to relax. That's a technique that is so powerful. Something else, breathing. Breathing, as simple as it may sound, most people don't breathe right. When was the last time you did that kindergarten exercise of breathing? Oh, breathing. And we left that with the kindergarten. But I can tell you for a fact, that is a major healer of stress. When you breathe in and you're breathing in through your nose, most of the time you're used to through the mouth. Yeah. You're not. Your mouth is not geared to let in air into your system. It is your nose. And so when you breathe in through your nose, you hold it for 2 seconds and then you let it out slowly, either through the nose or the mouth. That one you can choose.
I am tempted to doing that because I'm feeling already stressed. There's a lot of information. Oh my goodness.
That is flowing here.
I felt that I
It
needed
was
a
not meant
breather.
to cause you stress.
It is meant to help
But it
me
is
release
good
the stress.
stress.
I am learning a lot, and this is really relative. Let's take a breather because we have a lot that we need to discuss with this gentleman. Welcome back. You know what? I felt like I've been stressed all my life, and this is an eye-opener. I want us to do that exercise that we just talked about because I want to be doing it literally. Yes. Please just show us. I believe someone out there wants to learn how it's done. Yeah.
Now, let me say there are different breathing techniques that we can. There is one we call Wim Hof, something like that. It is named after the guy. And then there's what we call box breathing, something like that. But then there is the basic one, the one I was talking about. This is where now you make sure that you're upright. It is wrong for you to breathe when you're Yes, it is wrong because there's something you're doing to your lungs. So you need to be upright. All right. And then you're deliberate. This is what I'm doing. Probably place your hands on your thighs or something like that. You're relaxed. Bring your mind there because again, we don't want you to do an exercise in futility. Your mind is all over. You're observing things, and no, it won't bring forth. So you make sure that you're here. You're here. Once you've done like that, and you've communicated to your mind that you want to do an exercise, a breathing in exercise, so that now everything is aligned round about that element. So the next thing is now, after you've relaxed very well, and you make sure even your belly, you've relaxed. So you breathe in through your nose. You can count at the back of your mind 1 to 5. You're breathing in to the best that you can. And then you hold for a second or two. And then you breathe out. You just do something like that. Remember the counting. Now you cannot breathe in counting. 1, 2. But you can tell that you're breathing in. So you relax, and then you 3, go, you breathe in. And then out. The next one, I will not talk about it. I will just do it.
It's a technique that someone needs to learn.
It's something you need to learn because for a long time we've not breathed right.
Breathing is just breathing.
No. Let me tell you, I was called in for psychosocial support. At school, they had an issue. And now, within a very short time, I knew we are going to have issues. Girls are going to be hysteria. The thing that we did, I went on the loudspeaker, the PA system, and I told, whatever you are doing, please, make sure that you are breathing. And I told them, now breathe with me, because even when someone is screaming and crying and doing whatever they are doing, they are listening, they can hear. Yeah. And so I told, breathe in. And you could tell some people are breathing in because they are all over, they're crying, they have been given some bad information. And so, breathe out. By the time we were doing it the 10th time, the crying, the hysteria had really gone down. And even the cases that were referred to hospital, because it gets to a point whereby we had to refer some cases, the first exercise they were told to do was to breathe. Because what happens? When you start wailing, what are you doing? What is that?
Yeah.
You're letting out air.
You're letting out air.
And then how are you breathing in?
You have no time to breathe. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But the moment now you're deliberate about it. Like now, I want to do it. You just relax, we focus. And then at a count of 3, you will breathe in, hold to the best of your ability, and then you breathe out. And then I'll tell you some of the areas that you will feel the impact. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. Wow.
I breathed out.
Oh, you clear. You become better, but now don't do.
Yeah.
You have lost.
Wow, it is a technique, really.
You feel it at the tip of your fingers if you do it right. Number one, there's the way the body is responding as you're doing it. There's how you're doing it. It's like the diaphragm. I believe it goes like this, the diaphragm, and then there was a way to it. Now it becomes better if you're lying down. If you're lying down and then you do it, facing up, you feel even the tummy, and then you will feel even the impact on your earlobes. You know the earlobes, and then there's something you feel the forehead around here, and then the whole system, and you relax. And you will find that as you're doing it, you can imagine now doing bunches of 10 sets. Whoa, by the time you're doing the 10th, you've really enjoyed.
Wow. I can imagine. I can imagine something as simple that is so natural that we thought we all know how to. Breathing in and breathing out. We don't know. We have no idea what that is. And I believe it is time for us to start exercising this so that we can reduce stress in life. Now, moving on, let's go to lifestyle change. Let's talk lifestyle change to manage our stress. Yes, tell us something about that.
When I am stressed at this point here, trust you me, there's something I'm doing that is wrong. And so I need to do a lifestyle audit. How is my feeding? What's on that menu? There are some meals that will just stress you out. There are some things you will eat. Some of the things we are having, even as our food, they are all messed up. When you talk about wheat, when you talk about sugar, when you talk about processed foods, all those things that will set you, they will, set you up to getting stressed. And so those are some of the things that we are saying. When was the last time you walked? Someone has been saying that we need to do 5,000 steps in a day. 5,000 steps in a day. But we're living at a time whereby if I'm not using my car, then I'm using my boda guy. If I'm not doing that one, I'm sending someone to go do it for me. And so from my place of work, I get into the car, to the home, the house manager is there to, when was the last time you did some exercises? Some exercises, your sit-ups, some exercises. Challenge your body to live beyond the lifestyle that you've been having when it comes to exercises. Sleeping. I've just spoken about the phone. This is the one that is putting most people to sleep. A big risk. If it will be possible for you as a grown-up, an adult, 8 hours. If that can't happen, then let's talk of 5. Let's talk of 7. If it gets so bad, let's talk of 6. It will help a lot.
Why?
Yeah, nowadays people are sleeping even for 4 hours.
3. And by the way, they're not doing anything productive. They're either thinking, they're on their bed thinking,
Exactly.
Thinking.
Or just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. This social media thing is really losing us.
So by the time I'm doing my 4 hours, I went to bed. I was supposed the time I went to bed, I would have done 7 hours. But then when I get to bed,
Honestly.
my phone is there.
Exactly.
Then I'm on it. If we can learn how to sleep, and you see, we talk about 3 or 4 stages of sleep, 3 or 4 stages of sleep, and the body is responding in a given way at any stage. Very few human beings nowadays are going through those stages. We just sleep and wake up, as tired as we slept,
Yeah.
as worked up as we slept.
Exactly.
Why? We've not given our body the processes they
go
need
through
to
the
go
stages.
through so that they can rest. Remember, it is while you're sleeping that the body repairs itself.
Yeah.
The damages that have happened, the walking up and about while you are sleeping. It is when you're sleeping, even your memory rests. The body, you introduce rest to your body, to your system when you're sleeping. And so sleep is very critical. Maybe a lifestyle I can finish by talking about what can you introduce to your life. There are times we've been talking about hobbies.
Yeah.
What happens? Tech has taken that away
We
from
have
us.
so much we are doing that we don't have time for such.
Check out and tell me
Yeah.
how much you're doing, how much it is benefiting you.
Exactly.
It is you updating yourself with all the occurrences that are happening
Filling
around.
our brains with things that don't even,
They don't even
matter
happen
to
anymore.
us.
Oh yeah, and you're there. But when was the last time? Some people, you can play the guitar, and you're there trying out a certain tune. You can do the keyboard. You are very good at poets, writing poems. Nowadays we want to monetize. It's
Everything.
good. And so when I'm not monetizing, it doesn't matter to me. No. Sit
does.
down and I've been talking about journaling. Journaling, as much as people will say many things about journaling, when you sit down and you have that book, you know, that is the counselor who will never let out your information.
Yeah.
Because it is you and the book.
Exactly.
The moment you close that book or that journal, nobody will ever get to know something. And so those are things that we can introduce to our lifestyles. Hobbies, journaling, exercising, checking our eating habits, our sleeping habits. And these are things that will bring a change. You will find that all of a sudden, things that used to irritate you, to offend you, no longer do that.
So where do you place this stress management, learning about stress? Would you recommend probably our institutions like the schools introduce this as something our kids are learning at an early age? Because I understand learning those things right now at my age, yeah, I feel like I've been stressed my whole life. You know, everything is just stress. You know, at home, you're dealing with this, you're dealing with kids, you're dealing with the studies, you're dealing with work. Kids need to understand these things at an early age. Is there something you'd recommend? Or
Hope that comes with CBC and is introduced even to our system.
yeah,
Of course, we have different institutions augmenting what is happening at school. They introduce programs like there is one I've been following. It's called Contentment Foundation. They're generally talking about that.
yeah,
There's another one I remember we were working with, and it's an international organization with a program called ICAS. And these are things that are being introduced alongside the normal learning. Because I need to know how to take care of myself. When we talk about boys with maladaptive behavior, what are we talking about? Maybe it's a trauma somewhere that is eating them up. And so how I wish that we'll be able to introduce this. If that does not happen, then how I wish we will embrace other institutions to come along the main curriculum,
and fill the gap.
whereby counselors are called to school. Come talk to our learners. Come teach them on this. I know we've been doing a lot of motivation. And it's good to motivate.
Exactly.
But at times I like it when a learner is taught something, something they can take home, something they can take home. And so, like you're saying, how it will be,
exactly.
how I wish it would happen,
Yes,
that we are able to introduce this.
Yeah, because you find that this crisis of dealing with depression, suicide, mostly it's with teenagers, you know. And I believe if they learned what they're going through, probably they would know that they need someone to talk to. They need someone to intervene. They need it. They would be knowing what it is that they're going through.
Some of these things, we are where we are because we are not talking out. There are times you just need to speak out to someone so that they can tell you, are you sure about that? You know, when we were beginning the show, you told me you look smart. I can tell you for a fact, when I was leaving the house, I never felt smart.
You needed that.
It from you.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
That will help me.
To even raise my shoulders. What has happened? I've turned something from a social network, a friend. Now you can imagine if we purpose to become good friends. I first purpose to become a good friend. So that now when you reach out to me, you will be safe. Whereby we become safe spaces roundabout that we can go, social networks. Now the other thing is, when I become a good friend, I should also purpose to tell you, say, what did you say? You cannot say that about yourself. But then we are seated there and a friend is just saying some funny things and you are watching. I remember someone telling me after the friend had committed suicide. And by the way, he kept telling us that he will commit suicide. And I'm asking them, and what did you do about it? We thought he was joking. As much as I'm joking about suicide, do something. Do something. I've had people reaching out on my number and they're like, a friend of mine says they want to commit suicide. What will I do? And so now I helped that one to help.
Why do you think people don't reach out?
We've been hurt before. We've been hurt. We don't think we will get help.
What about cost? Is it expensive to get you?
Or now when you go to seeking professional help. Well, I like saying this is what I do for a business. This is the avenue through which I believe God meets my needs, right? And so I cannot do pro bono forever. I will need to charge. But again,
Is it too expensive, especially in our country today?
I wouldn't say it's too
Because I
expensive.
feel some people would keep away from reaching out for professional help, maybe because of the cost that is involved.
that is involved.
According to you, do you call it expensive?
I wouldn't say it's expensive. The reason why I say like that, I remember in my class when we were learning about ethics and we were being taught about being ethical even in your charging. I may tell you I charge the XYZ amount of money, but then you look at it and say, I don't have that money. On my side, I should have the heart to help more than the heart to make money. And then we can strike a middle ground. Personally, what I've been telling people, reach out. Don't say it's expensive, oh, it's expensive. Maybe it's not. Reach out, right? Personally, I've helped people. Someone comes and tells me, how much are you going to charge? And I'm like, I charge XYZ because you've asked me a question. And so they're like, I can't pay. I'm like, let's first see what we're dealing with. And then you help someone. They walk. Tenda wema, nenda zako. It also applies. Now, when we talk about professional help, the reason why we really push for that, seek for it, there's a place you can only go so far within your knowledge. You can only go so far. So you can imagine if your social circles, nobody has an experience in psychology. They will only help you within their capability. But now when you go to a professional who has been taught, and again, it's good for us to know there are so many, these fake people, they've got what? There's a name used for Bonoko. We have that all around about us. But we have some people who, they can even show you by reason of registration and all that. When you come to me, I will analyze what you're dealing with. The quirks. Thank you. That is the word. In every field, we have quirks. Even in counseling, and we are quite many. Because in counseling, most counselors, they are counselors because they can talk. But they don't have content. They don't have substance.
We are all counselors.
We can counsel. And I can tell you, we are really counseling people even to their death. Because we are all counselors. I have something I can tell you. And you know, I remember in my class being taught, counseling is not telling people what to do. Counseling is not advising. Counseling is not many things that we do.
Something so professional.
Counseling is counseling. It's professional. And so when you reach out, this person will take you through. They will first understand where you are. Once they understand where you are, they will see ways and means through which to introduce intervention. They will walk you through the interventions. They will help you develop habits that will help you stay out of the problem. And that is the beauty of seeking professional help.
Like this topic would be big, large, deep, and we really need another day and another one to talk about this. But before we exit, because I want us to complete on this one, and we will be back. Promise. You will be here.
I will be back.
I really need you to explain to people about a lot when it comes to mental health.
Yeah.
We are going through a lot in this life. Now, I want us to finish with one, not a question really, but advice. How would you advise us to help a family member who is going through stress? Please just tell them.
Wow. It begins by recognizing that that family member is not okay. Still, I know you. As a friend, I know you. Now, you can imagine how much your husband knows you, how much maybe your kids know you. There is a knowing we know about our people. The moment you realize someone has gone out of the person you know, be on the alert. All right? That is the first thing. The next thing, the moment you realize they're out of the person you know, either they've become someone more. You know, when we go out, you become more or less. The moment, now engage them. Let's learn to engage. And let's not go there to judge people. Now you're behaving like a mad person. Why? The moment you hit me like that, I'll be like, hey, leave me alone. Okay? Let's engage. So that we are given a safe ground. It's like you're giving me an assurance to speak out. You want me to open up. I am safe with you. Let's become safe grounds, even at our home, safe spaces, even in our homes. Let us have an environment that we can help each other. After you engage, now help that person to recognize something is not right. Did you notice since this morning you've been shouting at me? Have you noted that? You will realize when I start losing it, I raise my voice. I don't know. And so on this morning, I'm just raising my voice and I'm screaming and so someone will come and tell me, I'm here. I can hear. You don't have to shout. And I'll be like, I'm not shouting. That's exactly what you're doing now.
Exactly.
Now you're bringing me back to, because life has pushed me. So bring it to my knowledge that I'm not okay. And then at that point, try to give them that safe landing. What could be happening? Is it something I can help? And if there's something that you can't help, if it's beyond the two of you or beyond the people who are there, then encourage them to seek for help. I usually have a problem when I'm told, we want you to talk to our sister who has been having an issue. And I'm like, have you told the sister? Is the sister aware? No, she's not. In fact, we want you to tell them. So tell me, where do I come in? How do I come in? And because the moment I'll come, still, I think you have a problem. You'll be like, who told you? Right at that point, now you've blocked me. And so we need to bring our people to a point whereby we can even go. Can we go see a professional? No, I'll be with you. I'll be there. I will not leave you. And I remember there's a lady who was brought by, I think, the auntie. And they sat through the session because the lady could not let go the auntie. Talking about grown girl, but she can't let go the auntie because of what she's going through. But the auntie, because after we spoke with the auntie, I'm like, okay, bring her to a point she wants to come. Once she gets here, we'll pick it from there. And so we are like, do you want auntie to be here or do you want, I want auntie here. Okay, let auntie be. And so we walked, I think, the first 2 sessions like that. And after that, the girl continued coming along. After some time, she's laughing all around, and I'm looking at her and asking, can you remember how I started? It's because auntie realized there was a problem, realized she cannot handle the problem, and reached for help, and even was willing to accompany Denise. Let's do that. Let's be that to the people around, because there is pain all around, from my workplace to my relationships to the challenges. Even when I was walking home, a vehicle passed by, na kanigongea maji. You know, someone splashed water on me and they drive off. And I'm thinking, oh yes. Yeah. And so by the time I'm coming home, I'm stressed. Okay. And then you're like, Usin letter, and everybody is like, don't. Who do you think you are?
So a pile up of things bringing out stress, yeah? Amazing, amazing. This is a topic I would want us to explore, you know, expound, you name it. I am feeling as if I am totally new into this. Like I didn't know what is stress. Amazing. This is something I would want us to do again. Thank you very much, our viewers, for being here with us, for really walking into this topic with us. It has been amazing. I hope you have learned. And now at this moment, I want to give a shout out to Jambo Village Hotel. They have given us this safe space to do our show. It is an amazing place. You people should visit. You people should recommend this place. Also, I want to give a shout out to our camera person, our director, the stage manager. You people feel appreciated. Thank you so much for your time. Karibu sana siku ingine.